In the context we have a theory over here. There's a well marketed theory that Olympic boxing and professional boxing are getting further and further apart. Are you aware of this? That they're changing completely? Do you think any one of those particular styles is better suited to MMA?
The boxing, of course. If you're a professional boxer, a big trainer, somebody know tell you the wrongs from the right, and then you're not gonna have a problem. Wrestling and kicking is fine, but if you ain't got no power in your punches, main thing right there, that will get somebody out of there.
Okay, and just last thing, sorry to be annoying everybody in America, but have you ever been in Europe, Shane, at all?
I've been all over Europe.
Have you been in Ireland most specifically?
No, I've never been to Ireland.
Okay, and you'd have your hand up for a St. Patrick's Day fight here, yeah?
Yeah, come over there. I have no problem. Let us go there and try to find the gold. You know what I'm saying?
And will you fight Brock for us?
Oh, for sure. Definitely. No problem.
Okay. That's brilliant. Thanks very much. That's fantastic. Thanks a lot. All right?
Sure.
Okay.
And we'll go next to Brett Jones, Heavy.com.
Hi, first question for Randy. After the Toney fight, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you'll have 2 fights left on your current deal with the UFC. Will they be the last 2 fights of your career?
No idea. I'm sure the UFC, if things continue the way they've been continuing, will want to sign me to a new contract. I don't know. That's a long ways away as far as I can see. Right now, I'm not looking past James Toney and be ready for that.
Okay. And wanted to ask you about one of the storylines that have been going around since last Saturday's Anderson Silva Chael Sonnen fight is the thought that Anderson Silva has all of a sudden gotten old. And, you've been fighting at a very high level, long past the age at which most professional athletes can compete at that high of a level. In your mind, do you feel that Anderson Silva has gotten old?
No, I don't feel that way at all. I think that, Anderson needs to look at the spirit of which he's been competing potentially. It appears to me that he's just been doing his best not to lose. Instead of going out like he did early on and competing to win and take guys out, he's just doing enough to get by and to be successful and to keep winning. And eventually that kind of fighting attitude will catch up with you. You have to kind of go out, risk it, and lay it all on the line. That's just the way it is. And I think Anderson has kind of strayed away from that a little bit, but I don't think he's gotten old at all. I think he still is a tremendous athlete with amazing ability, and there were some pretty interesting things. He still demonstrated some of that in the fight against Sonnen, even though most of the fight he spent on his backhand and got dominated.
And in light of him being dominated and being put on his back for much of that fight, were you at all watching that fight and saying, hey, how great would it be to fight this guy, given your superb wrestling?
Well, I've said all along that the guy that's going to give Anderson Silva fits is the guy with that tenacious wrestling style. And Danny Henderson had that ability and stole around from Anderson when they fought, and then kind of strayed away from that game plan and got the slinging gloves with Anderson, which is, I think, always a bad idea. I've said a number of times when asked if I'd like to fight Anderson that would be a great fight. I think that I could do well against him, and he's a very graceful, amazing athlete, and one of the best guys in our sport. So those are definitely the kind of guys you want to fight.
Okay, thank you, Randy. And a question for James real quick. Given all the great boxers against whom you've competed in your career, would you say that Randy Couture is the toughest opponent that you've ever fought?
No, I wouldn't. Randy Couture is a great MMA fighter. I've never fought Randy Couture in a boxing match, you know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure I'm willing to give him an opportunity to do a boxing match after this if he want one, if he's man to step up and take it. But, the best man I've ever fought, period, so far in my whole ring career has been, I got to say, Evander Holyfield.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well.
And we'll go next to Eric Fontanez, Bleacher Report.
Hey guys, thanks for taking the time to do this call today. First question's for Randy. Randy, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Good. I don't know if you've seen through James Toney's interviews in the media, sometimes people have said he's been playing a little bit of mind games, especially with, getting the Randy Couture doll and dressing him up in a little dress, having a purse or everything. Does any of that motivate you to want to beat him up that much more or anything?
No, first of all, I haven't seen any of that. I hear about some of them from some of my guys in camp, but I don't really plug into the forums or any of that stuff. So, none of that really matters. On the day, we both still got to walk up in that cage and do what we've trained to do.
Sounds good. And James, what were you trying to insinuate by dressing Randy Couture up in a dress?
Well, that
No, that's fine, buddy. That's fine.
thing there was made before Randy could fight. Cause I heard he was talking about he want to fight James, doing World Games in the cage. I made her dress up and then put a dress on him, and then next thing you know, we heard he signed the contract, and here we go. There it is. He was look. I've been on top of the world for 10 years now. We've been for 2.5 years now, and I can't get no fight with nobody in boxing, no big names in boxing. So Randy Couture is the only man, whether it's boxing or MMA, signed on the dotted line. And I congratulate him for that, and I thank him. You know what I'm saying? He's bad step up to the plate. Bottom line.
Right on. And some reports came out that you've been working a lot on your ground game with King Mo, I believe, and that you had choked him out. Is that accurate? Did you actually choke out King Mo?
King Mo came over and gave me some work for about a month, helped me out. We had a good time, and we worked hard. We worked real hard, and one day we had an accident. It wasn't me.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Good luck to you both.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And we'll go next to Beau Duray, USA Today.
Thanks. Just a quick follow-up for James. James, you've been talking about the gloves a lot and how they're smaller. They also sometimes don't give you as much protection as a boxing glove would. Have you had to adjust to account for that?
Yeah, but it's the way you get your hands wrapped, if you got a trainer who knows what he's doing, know how to wrap your hands, get your hands prepared, there won't be a problem. And, I'm very much aware that Randy got 4 ounces on, too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this. And I'm ready. I can't wait. I'm excited to put the gloves on, the small gloves on. I want to let everybody know that what a real fighter does against another real fighter who really knows what he's doing with his hands.
So you're not worried and you haven't had any trouble, hurting your hands in training with these gloves on?
I really don't spar with them on. I spar with 22-ounce gloves because I have brittle hands. So I really haven't. I've only we did the MMA sparring with them on with no striking.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Well.
And we'll go next to Francisco Guzman, BoxoMundial.net.
Hey, Randy, you're fighting a guy who's a decorated boxer in James Toney. How do you think you're going to offset his striking ability?
Well, I think there's a lot of opportunity to offset striking ability in a mixed martial arts fight. So the rules of engagement for mixed martial arts allow for a lot of other things. So, obviously the most obvious thing is my wrestling background. I've been wrestling most of my life since I was 10 years old. Just like James has been spending most of his life boxing since he was probably pretty young too. So I have no illusions that I'm a world-class boxer or going to stand and trade with James. That would be pretty stupid. Given the rules of engagement of mixed martial arts, I can tie him up, I can take him down and put him on the ground and do a lot of other things to kind of neutralize his strength, which is his striking, most definitely.